Craig Miller and I'm the producer and director of Cuba, My Soul. That's a film that I've finally finished. I started in 2016. On that trip I took Max and Punga from Australia over to Cuba with my idea of creating this amazing film about Cuba and its music.
We're off to Cuba, they're going to make a documentary about music, dance, culture, life, experience, everything.
It's been quite a journey since then. It's almost 6 years later that the film is finally released. Over that period I've learnt how to become a director, how to become a producer and how to actually get a film out there in the world. I wanted to make a film in Cuba. You know, I love Cuban music and the culture. It's just a great place to go, and truly my dream was that I could actually hang out with some of these amazing musicians more and play with them. That's really what this is about. Off I went to Cuba. I've never made a film before. I did do a week summer class at Melbourne University on filmmaking, so I had some ideas, but I was pretty naive.
Hey, how are you? Where are you from?
we are from Australia.
Yeah,
yes.
we're filming each
And
other.
you?
We're filming each other. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing very good film to show to the world.
Cuba, My Soul. That was in November 2016, and then the second day we were there, Castro died. Fidel Castro died. We were actually filming a concert of Tony Avila at a jazz club in Havana. Halfway through the concert, someone came on stage and whispered in Tony's ear, and that was it. You know, the concert closed.
Disculpe, señores, pero lo que me acaba de decir Raulito está demasiado fuerte para... Es imposible seguir, caballo. Fidel acaba de morir.
¿Qué?
Fidel acaba de morir.
Tengo una noticia muy triste.
Fidel acaba de morir.
And after that, there was a 9 days period of mourning. So there was no music in the streets, no dancing, no drinking. Here I was with my little crew and we were planning to cross the island to film all the music. It wasn't going to happen. Anyway, what did happen was that instead of travelling the island, we stayed in Havana. There was no point to travel, and it was fantastic because we could actually interview some of the amazing musicians in Cuba at that time who they could go and perform, and so we went to their homes. I was meeting some of the most incredible musicians. So it was fantastic to actually have these intimate conversations with them.
Si a las nuevas generaciones no se les enseña un poquito de todas estas cosas que tenemos tan ricas, no solamente la música campesina, si estoy hablando ya en la música tradicional y música cubana en general. Si a nuestras nuevas generaciones no les enseñamos todas estas cosas maravillosas que tenemos, estamos en peligro de extinción de la música cubana aquí en Cuba, porque estoy segura que fuera de Cuba la van a explotar.
And really that was the first trip in 2016, and then a year later I went back because I wanted to cover the ground in Santiago. A lot of the music is from Santiago, so it was really missing that we didn't have that music. So on the second trip I went back and went to Santiago, and my idea was to invite all these amazing musicians back together to play some original music and have some concert. There was the first concert on the azotea, the top of this old building in the middle of Havana. It had this majestic 360-degree view, and it was just beautiful. And so we set up on the top of this building and brought all the artists in and supplies for a party, and off we went for this concert.
Traigo la melodía para que puedas gozar. Lo traigo con sabrosura porque soy la dama del son, señores.
Venga a gozar, a que te invita a cantar. Oye, yo soy la voz del son, motivo de inspiración. Para aquellos muchachos de mira, yo tengo toda la razón. Venga a gozar, vamos a gozar.
It was wonderful, except that after the first four or so songs recorded, the rain came. You know, I'd been in Cuba for like a month. There'd been no rain, and this day it absolutely poured, and we were washed out, you know. Yeah, it was an expensive thing to put on, and I was like, oh my God, breakdown. But then again, every breakdown is, for me, is an opportunity for breakthrough. So I said, well, we need to do it again. There was no choice. So a week later, we did the second concert, and that was even better because it was in the afternoon, and we had a big party happening, party atmosphere, and all these amazing musicians came. So those two concerts really are the backbone musically of the film. That's really what was exciting to me.
Mi tierra tiene un aroma diferente y sin igual. Mi tierra tiene alegría porque ella es musical. Mi gente tiene dulzura, tiene un encanto especial. Dios puso mil bendiciones para mi tierra natal.
But I had an amazing team, I think that's really important. When I went to Cuba, met up with Jessica and Pedro. So Pedro's the co-director, and he really directed, the interviews and what was going on in Cuba.
La música me atrapa mucho, no solo de mi especialidad como sonidista, ¿no? Sino de mi gusto personal por siempre defender y salvaguardar la cultura cubana, la auténtica cultura cubana. Y pienso que nosotros los jóvenes no debemos olvidar esas bases que fueron las que nos han llevado a construir este edificio que es ya nuestro país, lo que es Cuba, nuestra cultura en general.
And then Jessica was amazing. We called her the Typhoon of Havana. Teeing up interviews with people, organising stuff. She was amazing. Production, because working in Cuba is not like working in Australia. It really is a challenge. I had to take every bit of gear that I could think of that I'd need in my tiny little pack so I could sneak it through customs. Everything is a challenge. They would tell me, oh, Cuba es muy complicado. Everything is complicado,
Hey, what's going on?
¿Ves? De origen Angel.
Yeah. Whoa.
Wow.
So normal.
What?
It's normal that it's hard to start. Like.
Yeah.
So, I had a little crew there, and, it was really through those people that we created the film, the connections. And as I also took Punga. Punga is my mate from Melbourne, but he's a master Cuban percussionist. So, we really could go there and meet people and get to know them and gain their trust, really, so that they would, share. And they were great. They were so generous. Everyone loved it. And they really just want their music out there in the world.
Cuba se extraña, como se extraña, aunque tú vives en Nueva York, aunque tú vives en España.
Cuba se extraña,
Sí,
cómo se extraña,
cómo se extraña.
aunque tú vives en Nueva
Me
York,
dice el mambo,
aunque tú vives en
me dice
España.
el mambo.
Many varieties of Cuban music. So the film particularly talks about son music, which is this classic music that came before salsa and all these other rhythms.
Porque el son cubano está más sabroso cada día, pa' que lo goce mi gente.
Cuba, señores,
No puede faltar el son,
aquí en mi Cuba, señores,
tierra de soneros, tierra de sabor.
mi Cuba, señores.
There's that rhythmic background to Cuban music, which is really beautiful. But on top of that, with all the Spanish influence and the French influence, there's a whole European influence with melodies.
Entre las flores, las azucenas entre jazmines, entre los lirios, van naciendo nuestro idilio, van naciendo la esperanza de este amor prohibido.
It's just been the source of so many styles of music, and I think it's the syncopation in the bass that signifies the difference, yeah. The film talks a lot about the clave. Clave is this instrument. When you tap it, you play the clave rhythm. And that's really what holds the music together. It's quite amazing. Like, it gives it that subtle groove.
Aquí los niños que nacen ya saben hacer la clave. Vienen con ella por dentro.
La clave es un instrumento, es musical que lleva el tiempo. La importancia es que mantiene el aire del ritmo, de los números, el ritmo, mantiene el aire. No se echa ni para atrás ni para adelante.
Actually, what happened is that I'd been working for about 3 years trying to build an iPhone app. I'm an ex-engineer. I'd been working on this app for years, hours and hours trying to get this app going. And at that point, I really had to confront that it just wasn't happening. And I was actually doing a course, a transformational course on communication and team management and leadership. And in that space, I just got clear that, you know, this is finally complete. This app that I'd put so much effort into, I could finally let go. And then the next day I had a call with the leader of this course, and I just said, well, it's complete. I don't want to suffer anymore. It's done. Now what? She said, well, there's nothing stopping you in your future. You know, what would you do? I said, well, I'll go and make my film in Cuba. She said, great. By when? I said, by the end of the course. And that was it. It all started. I gave my word to making it. So that's why I needed to go in 2016 to Cuba. Well, it's taken more than a year, but we're finally there.